All right, guys. I had an emotional morning. Got a phone call from a client. We've been working on his boat. He's new to the sailboat. He's an older gentleman. They called and they didn't have any air conditioning. So all weekend. Well, I got there and I found out the problem. I got a couple of the units running. So this is where it gets really emotional. The guy and his wife, he actually broke down in tears because I was able to get some air conditioning going on the boat.
And plus you made them priority.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they called this morning and I slid some stuff and I went straight there because they didn't have air conditioning. But it was crazy because the guy crying, hugs me. He's like, "Oh, Matt, you can't believe it." Made me feel really good, but also it was just so emotional. Things like, you're the best mechanic ever and all this other stuff. So it was a good morning. Yeah. By the way, it is very hot here. That's why I'm sitting in the office doing paperwork in the air conditioning because I was totally sweated up. And I'm not feeling great right now because I think I got a little too hot. It's 84 right now, and I think it feels like 93. So we've been telling the guys, drink plenty of water, electrolyte, cool off whenever you can. We have some salt pills that they take to help with the cramping. It's getting hot. You got to be careful when you're working in the heat like it is down here.
It's crappy weather. I might go home and sneak home and have a rain day.
I just took you to Telmocho with the guys.
I know. You want to work out in that? I don't. This is a hatch that cost, I think, about $1,200. All tore up. This is how it showed up. So we're taking video to document if there's any damage so that we can show our port supply rep. So let's see what happens. I mean, I barely need a knife to open it. I see a little scratch there, but that'll buff out. That's no big deal. Notice the angle I'm cutting at. I'm cutting up so I don't damage anything on the hatch. I'll cut this here, cut that there.
Looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good so far. Yeah, it looks like the right hatch. Just a little ding right there, but I'm not going to worry about that. All right, we're good. We're going to go to the yard. We got a trailer light job going on. Sam's working on that. We've got gel coat repair going on. Eric's working on that. And then the other guys are out on the road. So let's go. Sam, where's your cardboard?
I just left it up there.
Okay.
Dude, you shouldn't be laying on the ground.
Get her done.
Sam was telling us earlier that the wires are just so brittle. This is a brand new trailer. And the owner's already replaced some stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Lights and stuff, he said.
No water.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
It eats it up.
All right, so Eric did a patch down here on the bottom of the gel coat, on the bottom of the hull on the gel coat. We sent some pictures to the client to see about some scratches and a little bit of other damage to see if he wants to fix it. I don't know if he will. He is putting the boat up for sale, so we will see. But everything else looks pretty good. So yeah, if anybody is interested in this boat, it's Hell's Bay, beautiful little flats boat. It's a 115 on here, so I bet you this thing really scoots. So if it's still available when this video comes out,
It's excellent condition.
yeah, really excellent condition, like looks like brand new almost. So if anybody's interested, just give us a shout and we'll put you in touch with the client. If I didn't know better, I'd make an offer, but I know better. I got my own project boat to deal with now. I don't need another one. This isn't the kind of fishing I do. This is like for backcountry flats fishing. I prefer deep drop. Yeah, that's our favorite, and bottom fishing, that kind of thing. I'm not really big into trolling either. It's a 2020.
Wow. I wouldn't have guessed it was 4 years old.
Yeah, me neither. It's in good shape. Over here, we've got the trailer for that. And the lights they've been replaced twice already by cutting and putting in new lights. Well, Sam's been working on it and he found that a lot of the wires are falling apart or corroded all the way through. So we just said, all right, get the boat off the trailer, tear this all down. We ordered a whole new wiring harness and lights for this. And when they come in, we'll wire everything back up and get the lights working. Should we get a coffee?
We probably already had enough today.
Okay.
We had that good Wandering Bear raspberry mocha.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Although I'm not a big coffee fan, but yeah, it's not too bad. Just
Right.
reminds me of like raspberry flavored chocolate.
But if you're interested in coffee here at the Perry Hotel, you can check out this place. It's pretty windy here today.
Oh yeah.
Look at that boat right there. I recognize it.
Razor's Edge.
You see that guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's go see
We
who's
didn't
here.
know he was in town. This guy has been a long time customer.
How you guys doing?
Must
Is Bill
be
here?
for the
Oh, no, he's out running errands right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll catch up with him later. owns Nortec Boats, which this is his new Nortec that he got.
That these young guys are washing right now.
Washing up.
But the captain's not here, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's a good friend of ours, Bill.
Yeah.
We'll catch up with him.
Punch bug. It's not there?
No.
What?
2 for cheating.
We're almost getting tied.
You gotta stop cheating.
You sure?
Yeah. Do you see it?
Who took its parking spot?
I don't know. They're not assigned spots. It's a free-for-all. I don't think he actually fishes the tournament. I think he just comes down. 92 foot with a Kevlar hull. It's beautiful, by the way. I've worked on it inside.
Remember years ago when the hurricane was coming and he invited us to go with him to escape?
Yeah, he wanted us to go on board as crew, and he actually went south of Cuba to escape the hurricane, and guess what? The hurricane went south of Cuba.
Yeah, he was in 15 to 17 foot waves, rough ride.
Yeah, ended up having some bottom damage from something in the water.
Yeah, he got hauled out right after the hurricane passed to have us take a look to see if we could help him get it fixed, and we
did a temporary repair on it. Because of the Kevlar hull, it had to go back up to the Viking yard to get repaired. So I'm doing a shout out to, I'll call him my buddy now, Dan, for the Strainer Maintainer Company. These are a tool that we use to clean these strainers. So this is a strainer. It's a filtering unit for salt water. Salt water goes in here and it comes out here and then feeds the pump. So it just keeps all the trash out of the pump. So you take the lid off here, and normally this is brand new. This is usually all full of stuff and growth. There's oysters growing here, mussels, all kinds of stuff. I found octopus in here, crabs, little lobsters, little things I don't even know what they are. But anyways, you take the basket out, you wash this off, clean that, and then you have all this gunk that's in here. And what you do is, Dan, we ordered some, but he was good enough to send some for free. So we said we would do a video for him. So all it is this plastic tool. This side is too big for this strainer. This is a Groco 750 strainer, 750 meaning 3/4 inch. But you take the other side and you can go in there and you can see where it gets in all the little crevices. You can break everything up. And then you can also use this side to scrub the glass, and it gets up in here too. You can clean every little spot of this without having to take the whole strainer out and take it apart. If you guys don't have one of these, Strainer Maintainer, get a hold of Dan. And this is what it is, and it's also right on here. It says strainermaintainer.com. Highly recommended these tools. We have like 4 or 5 of them around the shop, and we put them in the buckets when we go to work on the boat. Get this. Tell Dan we sent you. So what we have here is a starter. How much do you think this replacement costs? It's off a D12 Volvo engine. You guys wouldn't believe. So research it and leave me a comment. Somebody tell me how much they think this thing costs. But anyways, so the client wanted me to fix this thing, so we took it apart. So these are all what holds the carbon blocks. This all let go, ate the armature, and it's all chewed up. He wanted this rebuilt. I told him there's no way. Actually, we took it to a shop because he wanted us to, and they took it apart again. They left it like this and said, yeah, this is done. This is a waste of time. But he's still convinced that he's coming to the shop this morning. Even though I sent him pictures to look at this, he's still convinced that he's going to get this fixed somehow. I did find him aftermarket one, which is what we're going with. It doesn't say Volvo on it, but it's aftermarket and it's supposed to be the same. It's supposed to be delivered like later today. So we shall see. This one, done and gone. This was a Volvo starter. It had a tag on it, even though it was built by Bosch. It has a tag on it and it says Volvo on it. It says right there, Bosch, and then the other side says Volvo. I always prefer to go with OEM, which is original equipment manufacturer. So let's say you're working on a Volvo, a Cummins, whatever. I want the OEM part from Cummins or Volvo, and that's the best way to go, in my opinion. It's always the best way to go. The only problem is getting those parts sometimes is crazy long. It can take months and months. And then the cost. I mean, sometimes you'll see a starter and it'll be thousands and thousands of dollars, where you can get an aftermarket one, granted that's probably made in China. Not that that's always a bad thing. It can be much cheaper and can be the same thing. Given choice, always OEM. sometimes that's not practical. Let me know your thoughts on that subject. Do you guys always go OEM or do you look for aftermarket stuff because it's cheaper? If your experience was that you went aftermarket, have you ever had problems with the aftermarket parts that you bought? That's another thing. Sometimes when you get the aftermarket stuff, sometimes, for instance, the boat holes will be out just a little bit. It just won't align right, or it doesn't operate quite the same as the old one did.
Which that requires more time,
Yeah,
more effort.
right. So
are you really saving?
like Carrie just said, that can be the downside of non-OEM parts, aftermarket, because sometimes what if you put it in, it doesn't work at all, or it doesn't fit. So now you've bought like an electrical component. Let's say you bought a starter aftermarket and you buy this electrical component and it doesn't fit. Well, guess what? You can't send that electrical component back because they don't take them back. It's just anything electrical, they won't take back. It's the other downside of it. If you buy an OEM starter, they won't take that back either. You can see this is not how it's supposed to be. The guy called us, says, hey, my motor won't start. It just started a minute ago and now it won't start. And I'm like, Did a little troubleshooting. We load tested the batteries. They were good. And we disconnected this. We actually put power to this and the spur gear would come out, which is this. This pops up and down and engages the flywheel. That actually pops up. We're not going to get any rotation. The customer said he was going to come pick this up and have this rebuilt, but I just sent him a short video of this and said he can have it if he wants and he can come pick it up if he wants, but it's really not worth it. It's going on the scrap pile, needless to say, after he watched the video. All right, we're going to take this old generator over so that the engine shop can scavenge some parts off of it.
The old generator's been sitting here for a bit. Glad we kept that.
Oh yeah, I wasn't about to throw that away. All aboard. We don't have far to go, so we're just going to drive it over on the road. We just got to go a little slow because it's a little bumpy in the forklift.
Taking a ride over to Key West Engine for them to take a look at this old generator that we took out of the boat some months ago.
Looking to scavenge some parts off of it.
Well, I guess we're going out back.
Yep. Okay, all aboard.
Well, mission accomplished.
Yep.
Got rid of the generator. Now we're just going to put the forklift back. Oh, there's AJ.
I don't know about, I mean, I like the color, but that's going to absorb a lot of heat in the sun down here.
Yeah, definitely all the dark brown and the...
Yeah, but it looks nice.
Oh, I noticed somebody's still here.
They just got back from 2 weeks in Paris. Then he's going to San Francisco for a wedding, and then he's going for 2 weeks in Greece. So he travels a lot, just vacation. We put the skag guards on, and he got the lower units all cleaned up. He got them up out of the water, which is probably
90% of the battle.
Good thing, yeah. Yeah, this is pretty cool.
So Matt was saying earlier that you drive this from the front. Nice roof deck. Speaking of roof deck, we went to Hugh's place last night. It was pretty cool. You got to look over Key West and see the sunset. It is April, so probably one of the best months to go. I wouldn't really want to be out there in the summertime.
Yeah, this looks pretty awesome. It's got air conditioning. It's got a generator somewhere, I'm sure. Here's probably the master stateroom and a bath. It's all plastic, I think. Yeah, it's plastic. There's another head, another stateroom, full kitchen, galley. Got a full-size stove and refrigerator and microwave. That's pretty nice. Yeah, this thing's pretty cool. Little lounge area and TV. And the whole top deck is, there's stairs that go up there.
Yeah, viewing.
We go way up to the top of the building. The view is, yeah, really spectacular. Unfortunately, I don't understand why, because it was getting crowded, but it's only open for Monday and Tuesday.
6 to 8.
6 to 8. Yeah, sunset, I guess. But I would think that it would be open more than that. Definitely very cool. If you're in town, you should go check it out.